First bait in the water. Hello and welcome to the Slippy Limpets video. We are out on the rocks chasing cod. Totally atypical conditions, but it's a Friday night and what else to do rather, what else is there to do except for going fishing? Out in a rock mark, which is only accessible at certain stages of the tide. I've just chucked out a full squid with carp on a single 6/0 hook on a Paternoster rig and fishing into some really heavy kelp. So let's see how this first bait gets on. You've been slacked. Oh. Whoa. I saw that happening like it was just like slow motion. Oh, oh, oh. Getting a little rockland bite. Oh, that's not a rockland bite. Oh, yes. First fish. See if we can get on the shore. Oh, kelp. Get up. Oh, over the ledge. Oh. Whew. Well, there we go. Knackered after that. First fish of the night, probably 2.5. Yeah, maybe. It's a bit skinny. Totally engulfed that bait. Wasn't really a knock there, it just kind of just took it. Really wanted the bait and just ran with it. Nice fresh run fish. So there's my next bait. Got another full squid with carp shoved in it. I'll show you how I bait up in a wee bit. Always put the hook a little bit lower and then I hook the head of the squid straight through the eyes, just so it's got a bit of movement really, and it's got a nice clean profile. So I'm going to chuck that out. I actually miscast that cast. I kind of got a point where we generally should catch a fish from, and I wasn't too confident about pulling anything out of there, but there was a fish there. That's fishing. I'm going to try and get it in the right place this time. It's true. So that cast was slightly better in the right direction, slightly more to the left. Still not bang on. I don't know what it is when I come here. Casting, I'm not the best caster anyway, but I can normally cast straight. So, first 15 minutes, got a fish, about 3 pounds. And hopefully we're going to get into another one soon.
That wind's trying to get in it.
Come round a wee bit. Whoa.
Keep them with chucking over here. Fucking pulling over them two. That there.
Aye, that's your rock, isn't it?
That's your rock, right?
Oh. Oh, Jesus, that was a big hit. Oh, I hit like a train that. Oh, I feel smaller. Oh, really aggressive bite though. Well, there's the second fish. 10 minutes later, it's about half the size. Really, well, no, it's a lot smaller actually. Really aggressive bites though. It's quite good fun. There's a hook out. Whoop. Here you go, fella. There we go. Might run out of bait at this rate. I mean, I was half tempted just to stick this back out. Still squirting the cart out, but nah, I'm not going to be lazy. Yeah. It's not that stretchy, but it's nice and fine, and actually it's really strong for how fine it is.
It's expensive, like.
I know, but it's a massive reel, spool of it. Go. Yeah, let's get it back out. So it's 10 o'clock. Got another hour until low water, and then probably 2 hours left back on this mark. Been here 40 minutes, I think. 2 fish, not bad. No monsters just yet. So conditions wise tonight, earlier on I said that it was, I'll turn that off. Said it wasn't really ideal, and it's not. I mean, we've got a tiny swell. We've got a strong, as you've seen the rod stand being blown over a couple of times, a strong southwest. Well, it keeps backing round. It's meant to be southwesterly, but it seems to be coming more from the southeast at the minute. It's a big tide, which is good, but on the plus side that we've got, the water is manky. So, I think I'm getting a bite. Come back here. Oh yeah, I got slacked. Oh no, right in the heavy stuff. Feel the kelp vibrating on the line, pulling. If I just lift into it slightly, there's absolutely no movement. Right into a snag. I'm going to let a little bit of line out and just leave that. The way these fish are biting, if I get a bite, then should lift us straight out, hopefully. Alright, so as I was saying, the fact that the water's manky, that's a real bonus. And we have had really big seas for the past couple of days, so this is like a dying off sea, which tends to do quite well. I don't know whether I've just got a small fish on.
Yeah.
So yours is doing it now. It's just bent a wee bit. You can see the kelp in front of her. Don't know whether my lead's like over an edge and it's just kind of hanging off the bottom. Oh, that was a bite. Oh, that was definitely a bite, but I'm stuck fast. It's me lead that's stuck, I think, on my splashdown. If I'm seeing the bite, then the hook's all right. I'm just going to leave it. Let the fish lift it out or hook it. Oh. Well, I was snagged in the kelp there. It felt a positive bite, but I've pulled me lead off the rotten bottom. Oh. Oh, we're on the shore now. Yeah, my rotten bottom snapped off there. So I've just quickly put another rotten bottom link on. Oh, that's bright. There we go. Which I use, I think this is a spool of Berkeley XPS, £25 that I bought maybe 10 years ago, and I use solely for this. And then that's lock-footed onto my Gemini splashdown, which is my bait clip. And then just a wee rotten bottom link there. I give it a little spin, just so it does that. And that means I don't have a loop, which the hook might get caught into. Let's get it out. So that's that bait back out with my new lead on. Wind's now off our back. I've had all points of the compass pretty much. Our tackle tonight is a 14-foot Century Fireblade, not the glass tip, just a standard carbon tip, with a Penn Battle 8000 long cast and 79-pound braid straight through. Get asked if I use a shock leader. I don't, and that's why I'm using 79-pound. I don't like them. They catch weed. You have to tie more knots. And yeah, I just prefer braid straight through. Steve tonight is using Century T1000 with, what reel you got, Steve?
BG 30 saltist.
Daiwa BG saltist 30 with 40-pound Berkeley trilene straight through, no shock leader again. But you've got that, you've had it, the T1000 restrung, re-eyed. Oh, now the wind's coming from the south. It's going to blow the rod stand over. With minimas on. That is the beauty of a minima. Flat as, but doesn't knock your line. it's going all over the shop. Well, it's gone really quiet. I think that it's either emptied out because it's quite a big tide. Actually, we're pretty much at low water. It's probably slack water. Steve was just saying, I'm agreeing with him that we're probably, excuse me, we're not gonna get any more fish maybe until the tide starts pushing. In the past when we've fished here, it's been better on the flood, on the flood, and to the point where you don't want to leave. But there you have to, because we get backfilled, so. Oh. Fish is about to show us up there, maybe. Oh, this crosswind's playing absolute havoc. It's going all over the place. Rod stand's gone over like 4 times already tonight. Anyway, it's just how it is. So this bait's had, what, 25 minutes? Not really a sniff. Well, hard to tell with the amount of wind bites we're getting. But I think I'm going to bring this in, put a fresh bait on. High water was about 15 minutes ago, so probably got another half hour before tide starts running. And hopefully the fish will start biting again. I meant low water, not high water. We'd be treading water if it was high water. Whoa. Don't know if you can see that. See the hook there? Whoa. Can't even get this bait off. It's that. Oh, it's totally bent out as well. I also lost my rotten bottom and lead again. So the rig that I've got is it's called a Paternoster. People ask us about this. It's probably one of the most simple rigs you can use. So I've got a rig clip And then I have a crimp, a bead, a little breakaway 80-pound swivel, then another bead, and then a crimp, and then that creates like a little standoff. This is my hook length, and it's literally just the same length as my main line, and at the bottom of my main line or rig body I've got a Gemini solo splashdown. Sorry, can't remember if it's Gemini or breakaway, but it's called a solo splashdown. And the beauty of these bait clips is that you can adjust your snood length or your hook length. So obviously you can't go shorter than your main line, but it means that in calm conditions you can have a really long trace if you want, or you can have a more streamlined casting trace if you keep it at the same length. And then at the bottom of that, as I said earlier, I've got a little lead clip, which the lead just sits on there. I'll show you once I tie a new one on. But if you don't want to do this, basically you can use a 3-way swivel. This replaces the 3-way swivel, but the reason why I don't use the 3-way swivel is that you've got more knots, and typically every time you put a knot in your line it creates a weakness. So because a crimp doesn't really damage the line, you don't lose any strength. So it means that this is actually 80-pound main line, and it means that it's still 80 pounds. Obviously I've got a knot there and a knot at the bottom, so I've got only 2 knots on my main line. But if I used a 3-way swivel, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 knots, which are all points of weakness. So yeah, that's why I do that. So I'm using a uni knot, and you lose 20% of your breaking strain by using a uni knot. It's quite strong. 20% is not bad, so I've got 80% of my strength left. I've just said my main line or rig body is 80 pounds, and then I'm using 50-pound hook length or snood, and that's amnesia, 50-pound amnesia. And I use amnesia because you can scrumple it up and all sorts, and it just doesn't have any memory. I love these rigs. I use them pretty much in most conditions, in most scenarios as well. Very, very simple. And you can see the state of the hook there. One of the problems with amnesia, this is a large spool of it, it's because it doesn't have any memory. It doesn't stay on the spool very well. As you can see, it's just spooling off. But it's a small price to pay for a highly abrasion resistant and memory free line. So I'm just going to attach the snood length with the uni knot. You start at the swivel or the top end of the rig, so then you can assess the length. Pull that nice and tight. And same length, so I'm going to chop that just there. The Viking's quite long, so it means that I'm just going to go slightly shorter. That's me hooks. Mustard uptied Vikings 6/0s. Just using a single because I'm in quite rough ground. The uni knot's dead simple. Just a quick loop, bring your line up, then wrap the tag around at least 3 times. I'm just going with 3, it's strong enough. That's me hook tied on. I'm going to stick me rotten bottom on, and that's a Berkeley XPS. You can use any line, obviously. It's just I used to use this as my main line before I moved to braid, so obviously I've still got plenty left. Everything's getting blown all over the place. And then all I do is tie a figure of 8, which is quick. Wrap around a couple of times and then back through. Pull the tag ends out. There we go. I like to make sure the knot's in the middle, so I'm gonna stick a loop through there and then bring the other end through. Then that's what I would call a lark's foot. Do the same with the lead. Stick the loop through, bring it down the bottom, then up, and that's my rotten bottom. I'm going to take these wires out because I like fishing with a plane when it's pretty flat calm like it is tonight. My rod stand went about 6 foot in that gust. Monster. Let's wait for the gust to stop because my cast will go absolutely nowhere. It's wild, isn't it? I was waiting for a gust to stop, but it wouldn't. That wind is relentless. So that's that in. I don't know where it's gone. The wind's coming like 45 degrees off my shoulder. We're trying to cast into it or across it, but it's just a nightmare. I mean, my camera on a tripod shaking around like there's an earthquake. Hopefully it's 11:45. Fingers crossed the fishing's gonna pick up again like it was when we first got here. Now that rig, I'm not saying it's the best rig. There's, you know, plenty of other rigs out there. It's just the one I like to use, and that's exactly how I like to kind of set it up. So 3-way swivel rig or a Paternoster is probably what most people start with, in all honesty. Well, that's what I did. I've tried all sorts of different rigs and I always come back to it. Look at the rods bouncing in that wind. Bite detection's nigh on impossible. If it's not waves taking my boxes, it's the bloody wind. My boxes have just been blown over there. We've got loads of leads in and weights and drinks and things like that, and they've just been blown over like now. Spilt with stuff all over the rocks. 20 mile an hour the forecast said. It's more like 50. It's just nuts. Oh, my torch is running out of batteries. Touch ledgering. Having to hold everything down. It's almost unfishable, really. I thought we were in for a really good night.
I did now.
Like aggressive takes and fish on the feed.
Well, I seen that first one, I thought, yeah, was the other way, like.
As soon as you pick up the rod, it's like that. I can't stand anymore. Oh, no fish on that cast. So we fished for what, half an hour, 45 minutes into the flood. It's now 1:15. Hour and a half into slack water. Had those 2 fish. Thought, oh yeah, you know, the fish, those takes were really aggressive. And I thought, oh, we're in for a good night now. Then we hit slack water and it just died a death. We were hoping that the car's shaking in the wind. We were hoping that a flood would turn it on again, which it normally does, but at that particular mark anyway. But then that wind came out of nowhere. I mean, we couldn't stand up properly, let alone fish effectively. So We persevered for what, half an hour of the flood, 2 casts, had absolutely nothing, or we don't know if we did or not, but we didn't land anything, so we don't know if we had a bite. And then the light ran out on my camera, so caught a couple of fish. You know, Friday night, we've had a few hours out, bit of crack, landed a couple of fish, so yeah, mission successful, I guess. So gonna drive home now, and anyway, really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, until the next one, tight lines. My tackle tonight, I don't know if I was on the screen there, so I'll say it again. My tackle tonight is... Oh, it's howling. Whoa. Jesus. Come on, Win, play the game. I'm trying to film a freaking video here. Oh, well, I just recorded an outro, and then I turned the engine on, and my phone connected to the car, and turned the camera off while I was mid-sentence. Can't remember where I was at. So I'll start again. There we go, it's probably closer to £3 than my camera's set really high compared to normal. Sorry, I forgot my tripod.